Hello, you beautiful people, and welcome to our brand new series, Teams of the UKTC. For many of us here in the UK, the UKTC has had a huge impact on the competitive scene over the last few years, be it through providing a super major every month, creating a terrain and mission pack that is now a staple across most events held all around the country, or in general, just helping to raise the standard of competitive play. And of course, where there is competition, there are rankings, with players earning points towards their individual placings, their chosen factions, and their team. These days, it's impossible to head to an event and not spot a host of team jerseys arrayed across the sports hall as players sweat it out both literally and metaphorically for those all important space points. But who are these teams? What's their history? Well, it's time to dive beneath the surface. And in this series, we're going to be peering into the murky depths of the team UKTC scene and getting all the juicy gossip for you. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by one of the most famous and long-standing teams on the UKTC, Warmasters. So, without further ado, let's meet our two representatives from Warmasters. First up, it's someone who first rose to fame for combining drop pods and death, and has since had huge success with both Tau and Guard, who'd be considered one of the favourites at any event he enters. And you most probably recognise him as the guy walking around the sports hall 45 minutes into the round, having already finished his game. Nassim, how the devil are you, sir?
I'm very well. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolute pleasure. You've got a nice little background there. And is this your normal abode?
Yeah, exactly. This is definitely mine and not Brian's setup, I promise.
Absolutely not. Things are going so well in the 40k world that you've upgraded. I like it. And those are all your trophies at the back. But apparently you've got more trophies.
Yeah, I've got more. This is like, I'm actually surprised Brian has won so little trophies, to be fair. But
It's disappointing. If someone is his standing,
yeah, I expected more, but he's all right.
He'll do. Our other guest is no stranger to this channel, best friend and nemesis of the police. When he isn't sending all 7 people in the Deathwatch Reddit into meltdown, he can be found knocking aside the various 6++ challenges at any event before taking the title for himself. It is, of course, Mr. Jack Tite. How the devil are you, sir?
I am doing well, Chris. Excited to be here, discuss the team, the UK scene in general, and looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And hopefully we don't send any Reddits into meltdown this time. So you've been warned.
No promises.
Got double ingress ready for you right here, Chris.
That's what I like to hear.
Coming for it.
So, obviously, I've got a variety of questions which I'll be asking these guys, and we're going to learn all about Warmasters, and then I'm going to try and put them on the spot and watch them squirm a bit later on. But obviously, the logical place is to start at the beginning. So, Warmasters, when did it begin? Where did it begin? What is your guys' origin story?
Yeah, so I mean, like Jack's been with us since I think quite close to when we started. Initially, it was I think with me, James, and a couple of like the other boys that are not no longer within the team. There's one of them, Stuart, who still is, and it all started in a grimy little dungeon that I think anybody who's played in London will know is Darksphere.
Yeah,
it's just through there, and like when I think it's like Battle Scrap was still a new thing, so it was like very early days. I think it was early to mid 8th, and we just met up a few times, played each other, decently local to one another within London. We'd play a few games, and we'd be like, hey, be pretty good to keep playing with each other, hang out, and just get along. So it was just a group of mates, started that way. And then slowly and surely as time went on, more people that we got along with just got added to the team. It was a journey. And I think right now in the Warmasters group, there's probably like around 30 of us.
Okay.
Well, so it's quite a number of people. Not everyone goes to events as frequently. It's more of a, as you could say, a group of mates that's expanded over time. Really, as you end up playing more and more Warhammer together and picking up more and more people as go to events and having a good time with them.
Yeah, because I remember when I first met you, it was at one of the Darksphere events, and it was with James and like Neil Morris, and we went to did we to Wagamama's or something? That's like my vague recollection of that. And you were paying. you were playing guard. I remember that at that point. And Neil Morris was on Triple Riptide. That's my vague. And there was a group chat. I remember that. How did the name Warmasters come about then?
So funny story. It used to actually be called West London Warmasters because a lot of us were based in West London. But as we started, more people from London and like outside of London, we kind of were like, oh, we can't really be West London Warmasters because initially it was like after like Abaddon because Abaddon's like the Warmaster.
Yeah.
After Horus and like we had one of our players who was like a big Chaos player. It's like Warmasters. I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. That's West London, and then just got that way. So the origins are in Chaos, funnily enough, and apparently I'm going back to my roots now, which is good.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, obviously, we've got you on because you've been so successful as a team. So come on then, Jack. Obviously, you've been around a long time. Warmasters have done pretty well. What would you say the highlights and accomplishments kind of the team have been so far?
I'm gonna take a slightly different starting note here than I think
Okay.
maybe Nassim will go with, but I think if we look most recently at this year, we had, I believe it was 4 people from Warmasters apply for Team England this year, and all 4 applicants made it through to the squad stage. And I can't think of many other teams in the UK that have had that success rate for making it through selection to the squad stage. But I think it's something that, while we haven't talked about it, I think we're very proud of as a team and the other individuals who have done so.
And obviously, having the vice captain as one of the Warmasters player has no reflection on this selection at all.
No, it's really annoying, really, because you think you might get a bit of a leg up. Because
Yeah. Is he not doing it?
He stubbornly
How dare he?
refuses to
Marsha.
put stuff out. But
Marsha.
we get there through our own merit and lots of Nassim's opinions about what we should be doing better. But
Of course, the taskmaster of the team.
But yes, I think outside of the England stuff, I think we probably have one of the strongest records as a UK team in the ITTs. Admittedly, I have not played in all of them. Normally, there's some issue that I can't play, but I've played in a lot of them. But I think it's fair to say, overall, we've had a very good track record. I believe the first ITT, we came 3rd, if I remember.
I remember that one. Yeah,
that was the one that I was actually playing for your team, 6++. But we'll ignore that.
Just gloss over that. That never happened. Yeah.
But, I was not there, so
we've had numerous top 10s. We go toe to toe with normally the biggest team we can find that we're on round 4. And I think we show ourselves quite admirably in those games and rounds.
Excellent. So ITT wise, wasn't there a thing a few years ago you did really, really well in the ITC rankings? Am I making that up?
I believe we had a 3rd place for ITC a couple of years ago. I think, to be honest, if you look at it on most year-by-year basis on the UKTC and ITC, we're definitely, I think, consistently almost always in the top 10 and quite often in the top 5. And I think a lot of it comes down to we definitely have some very strong players, but we also have a very wide team, right? We have a lot of people, wide range of skills and abilities, wide range of how often they play, really. But I think a big part of it is you get lots of people involved, and when you have a few people who are very knowledgeable, it can work very well to teach and educate those who are looking to get better.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting one, and I'd be curious to know, so you guys as a team, do you do anything in particular to help prepare for team events, or even just as a team in general? So at 6++, we've tried a few different things to try and improve the player skill of our team. We've kind of had different things we've tried. Do you guys have particular ways that you have worked to improve your team? Have you had training days? Do you have a certain way you approach singles and team events in terms of the list discussion and that sort of thing? Is there a method to reason why you've done so well, or is it more just we've got a few good players and that kind of carries us?
So I guess let's take over on this point a little bit. So in terms of like the more general events, when you go to more singles events, there's definitely a lot of discussions like within the team, in terms of when like people asking about lists, advice about certain matchups. There's a lot of those dialogues that do happen. Like, oh, I played against this. How do you think this goes? Like the most recent ones, like when Danny Everson, I think he came third at Sheffield. Like just during that whole, but it, even what was it called, before the event, like played a game to help him practice, get him a feel for his list, and just like speaking to him just across the event, and like he'll be sending a few messages, and but even prior to that, people if they're unsure on the list, they'll drop a message in the group chat, essentially, and we'll just go from there a little bit. It's more discussion orientated, really, when it comes to more of the single stuff. But when it comes to, I guess, to the team events, usually what we do is we split up into our like separate teams, and at least with the way that we've done it with the A team for the last few times been there, is we'll like have like a weekly call. We establish what our agenda is for going forward to the lead up to the event. It's like, okay, so we'll use this initial call just to figure out rough roles for what the team and what we want to see, and then like I guess rough art, like, and when people have rough armies and fit within those slots, and then we'll be like, all right, cool. Within the next call, just like let's see where you are roughly on your army, what type of boards you want to play on, and what your good and bad matchups are. Go there, come back with a bit more discussion, a bit more fine tuning the lists, and then there'll usually be like a final call after lists are out. Obviously, we compared some of the top teams like 6++, Ignite, and some of the other teams, like the Mind Goblins as well, and essentially go from there. All right, these are the these are the players, these are the lists. How do we fare against them? And we'll critique each other's matrices a little bit. It's like, okay, why do you think this is a win? Why do you think this is a loss? Oh, actually, this is better for you than you think, or this is worse for you than you think, and have those form of discussions, and then trying to figure out a game plan for it. It's like, all right, we will defend with this person against this team, and with this person against this team, and if they defend with Tau, we will attack with these two players, and vice versa. And we'll have those form of discussions. Will lead up with the team, so it's a lot more structured and a lot more organized, which definitely helps, I guess, get us more into a team's frame of mind with how we do things. So that's, I guess, a little bit more there. There's a lot more work that goes in within the teams aspect of it, as there's I guess, joint to go to do better. As much as we still want our players to do as good within the singles side of things, within the team, it's like there's more of a, I guess, unit behind it. As we'll go in there like this is like, oh yeah, we're going there as a team. We want to hit out the park and smash it, right? So it's a little bit more, I guess, that that's essentially how that's focused.
I definitely could see that, because I know, like, from our perspective, we're exactly the same. Like, the teams events are where we really work together as a team, and the singles, I would love it to be the same, but you do still have that element of competition, don't you? You're like, well, yeah, obviously I want to help you and I'll offer advice, but also I do still want to do the best out of my team, and I think that does certainly get in the way. Teams has obviously blown up so massively. I mean, at the most recent ITT, we bumped into a brand new team who had matrixed every single team in attendance. There was an unprecedented number of people there with laptops and matrices and plans and all that sort of thing. How do you guys? So you touched on it about you discussed the armies and that. Do you have a set philosophy in terms of, are you trying to get in two armies that can go down first in teams competition, and then two combat armies? So, like, for example, we're upcoming ITT, we're talking about potentially having two armies that we can switch as necessary to go down first, hunt for that light board. We've then got two combat armies, and then we've got kind of a blunting type force. Do you have those sort of roles, or is it just a bit more, these players are on these armies, let's just try and play the army that we know the best and win the game?
So I think, as a team, I think we're a little bit unusual in that respect, in that we very much encourage people to take what they're comfortable with. I think we found that, generally speaking, trying to put people on specific factions or specific archetypes to try and help, team pairings often ends up being a bit detrimental because you end up with players who maybe aren't entirely confident or sure about particular matchups. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have, vague guidelines for how we're trying to structure the team. I think it's very loose in how, for at least our 5-man teams approach. I think we normally have, a couple of people that are solid defender picks. They can go down, take board choices, take certain matchups, and we tend to have a couple of us who are aiming to push for much bigger scores.
You two, yeah.
That
Jack and Nassim get 20s, and then everything else fits into place, right?
that normally is what ends up happening, yes. But I think as a whole, it tends to work very well. I think Nassim tends to be the one that gets the 20s more so than me. I'm a bit more unreliable at it, but we also have Raf. Raf does an excellent job of getting us the big scores in the rounds where I maybe have a stumble or two. Certainly been known to happen here or there. But Nassim, though, bottom line, 20 every time.
Easy. It's an easy game. Yeah.
But yes, we very much, I think, at least encourage people to be happy and confident in what they're playing. I think we'd much rather that than someone go, oh, no worry, guys, I'll swap to X or Y meta faction. And then when it comes to the event, they're a little bit unsure on how to play it. I think we'd rather just have the slight drop in faction power, but a much stronger matrix and confidence in their ability to get what they predict.
Yeah, we've been to enough now to know that knowing the matrix and being able to deliver according to what your matrix is just the fundamental aspect of being successful. And you go to an event and you're like, well, I think it's roughly this, and actually I don't actually know how to play this matchup or what the score's going to be, and suddenly things can fall down, can't they? Lovely. Right, anyway, moving on to more of a general team aspect then of Warmasters. Do you guys have a kind of like a core philosophy? Like, is there, if you could sum up Warmasters in one sentence, like what would you say you're trying to aspire to be as a team? You probably think of as lots of teams out there do have some sort of identity, positive or negative. So would you say you guys think you do have an identity? Is there something you're aiming to achieve? Like, how do you think other teams view you when they're drawn against a player from Warmasters or at Teams Warmasters? Like, what do you think they're thinking?
I mean, I think as an overall identity is, play well, play fair, and just don't be a dick. I think it's the overall vibe.
Strong.
For the lack of a better phrase, I think at least how a lot of the other teams view us is like, when they are paired up against us, like, oh, okay, this is going to be like a tough, like a tougher round than usual. It's going to be a tough round to play, but it's going to be a good round, right? They're going to have a good time. And actually, I think I can't remember when this was. I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I was having a conversation with a few people, and it's like, oh yeah, they played with some of my teammates at some local events and over the UKTC events, and just like, oh yeah. I had a great time playing against this guy. I was like, oh yeah, he's one of my teammates. I was like, and it's good to hear those types of stories because it's like clearly fostering the right culture there. No one's being a cunt, for the lack of a better word. You're having a tough but a good game.
Yeah, and that's what more could you want, really? I think, really. And as we've played, obviously, we've played you guys lots, and we always have a lovely time. So, obviously, these days, it's not just Warhammer. There is a whole world out there of beside the tabletop game in terms of content, running events, coaching, all these sorts of things. How do you guys contribute to the general community at the moment? Are you guys doing anything at all?
I mean, some people know this, some people don't, but I do a bit of everything when it comes to Warhammer, really. For those that don't know, Warhammer and Warhammer related things is my full-time job. I'm self-employed. I have a little eBay store. I buy and sell Warhammer. I've started doing the odd bit of commission painting here and there. And I haven't talked much about it. I've been apart from to Naz, but I'm looking to also start doing some coaching for Warhammer as well. So by all means, please get in touch with me if it's something people are looking for. I've got a very empty schedule at the minute, so if you get in first, maybe you'll get it cheaper. But other than that, exactly. That's the plan, right? I'm going to nick all the Naz's customers. Nailed it. I run a few events locally. So for those that don't know, I don't actually live in London. Like a good bulk of the Warmasters lot, the team has very much extended beyond London now. But I think I was probably one of the first members
South
of the
London,
team
yeah.
who was sort of outside London. I think it's because you thought I lived in London when you invited me, and then found out I lived in Cambridge. Um,
Lives in a village outside of Cambridge.
yes, I live in a village outside of Cambridge.
Yeah.
I do live in the middle of nowhere, but back up in Cambridge, I'm quite heavily involved with one of the local wargaming clubs called Sons of War, and I help run a lot of their 40k RTTs and stuff. So I try to give back to the local community a little bit, and in return, I think as a team, we've picked up a few more players from Cambridge over time, and it just helps get the team's name out there for more than
Yeah.
just winning events, really, right?
No, 100%. And how about you, Nes?
I mean, I think to be fair, like we don't as Warmasters, like we've always talked about a little bit, like maybe doing a podcast. That fell through. We never really committed to it. I think a lot of it comes out to there'll be a few of us being like shows like this, right? Just where like you're like interviewing us, because I like to think well known enough to be invited to have discussions. Like Jack was 6++. I'll be like on 6++, or maybe like an interview on Art of War, and like that's therefore like a few of our teammates. Like that's the main way that we're getting our name out there is like we're actually invited to these shows, having discussions, and a lot of people get to see us that way. And outside of that, it's mainly just going to events. We'll have like team dinners as well, so that's also pretty cool. And just overall, just get on with people more than anything. We don't really have like a set platform. Like I'm now affiliated with StatCheck, and I do a little bit of coaching through StatCheck that way. So if anyone's interested, feel free to hit me up. But that's like the main way really that we go about it. It's just, I guess, you get invited to these shows, getting our name out. We don't really have our own platform, so to say, but I like to think that we're known we're known as a team through these other platforms.
Yeah, and I think there's if you were to look at the top 10, like in the UKTC teams at the moment, you've got a mix, haven't you? You've got teams who are competitive teams who are quite small and competitive. You've got teams who are like Ignite, obviously. You've got teams who are an entire business, like Vanguard Tactics. You've got you guys who are a reasonably sized team, but you're focusing more on the playing than the content side. And then you've got teams like like ourselves who are just dabbling and being really slutty and putting our finger in all the pies. So yeah, I think there's a really interesting dynamic across the scene. But you've had success. Is there an end goal? So if I was to redo this series in 5 years' time, let's say, is there something you guys are trying to achieve? Like, so at 6++, we would want to be a consistent top 5 competitive team, as well as running regular, really successful events and having a big YouTube page. Right, that's our goal. We just want to do it all. For you guys, is there something you are trying to work towards, or is it just a go with the flow and see what we can achieve? Like, how's it looking for you?
I don't really think me and Naz or any others have really sat down to talk about long-term goals. But I think in our head, I think we're looking to get I think we'd like to make the final round at an ITT. I definitely think that's something we've got in mind, and I think this year, I think we'll be in a very strong position to do it by the end of the year. And I think just improve where we are at as a team as a whole. Really, I think at least goals for myself, for a few others within the team. It's just improving the players on the team who are willing to put the time and the work and the effort in to get better. And we definitely have some of those. I reckon in 6 months or a year's time, you'll be seeing a lot more Warmasters names up near the top of events and stuff, just through listening to what Naz has to say a lot of the time. As much as he's loud and has his opinions on things, I think it's fair to say he normally has some quite useful advice and knowledge for people to absorb. And I think that's probably at least part of my goal in the team, is improving a few people who've I'm close with, who want to get better and improve.
Yeah, and I mean a lot of it, right, is at the end of the day, at least for myself, and I think for a lot of these people that are playing Warhammer 40k to that top level, it's for the love of the game, really. I didn't really get into this hobby, at least for myself, with being like, oh, I want to get into this hobby, and here's my end goal. It's like kind of gradually fell in love with the game as time went on. Some people were hooked immediately. I was kind of hooked semi immediately, and then you'll take the occasional break, but it's just playing it for like the game that you enjoy, right? It's your hobby, and just naturally as a person, you want to be good at the stuff that you enjoy, right?
Yeah.
Like if someone's playing football and they're playing football, quite frequently, they want to be good at football. Nobody that wants to be better at what they enjoy doing, right? Whether that's be the painting side of things, the playing side of things, or like whichever part of it. I think that's just it's a big driving factor for myself. I want to be good at something that I enjoy, and I want to have fun as I do it.
Absolutely. And I think the other nice thing is, you two, your combined age is basically my age, right? Like you've got a future there. You've got depth. I mean, we played your Warmasters B team at the last ICT. You're starting to build up that depth, and I think you can definitely see a situation with your full complement of players. You're going to have at least two really strong teams moving forward, which would be very, very exciting. Um, in terms of the UKTC scene, though, are there any particular teams that you have friendships with, or even rivalries? If you want to call out any team that you want to beat down, now's your chance.
I think Naz
So
might be there in a room with one of them.
yeah. I think we definitely will ignite a beatdown one of these times.
You've come close. You've come close to beating them.
We've come very close a few times.
Yeah.
But
For those that don't know, it's become a bit of an on-running joke at this point that somehow at every ITT on round 4, and I don't think it's quite every ITT, but it's definitely in the 80%. I think we draw Ignite round 4.
last 6
And
ITTs,
you know
we
what?
played them
I
4 times,
think
round 4.
I think the first time we played them, I think it's fair to say we got quite thoroughly trounced. We had a couple of okay matchups, but mostly across the board, it wasn't looking great. But as time has gone on, we have gotten progressively better and better in how we perform against them as a team. I believe the last time we played them, we were 1 point off drawing the round, and we were 1 point off getting that 1 point in about 4 different games. And I think as a team, we were very pleased with that. But I think it's fair to say Ignite has proven to be our foil quite a few times as a team. But next time, I reckon we'll have them on the ropes.
Crush them.
Absolutely, there we are. So Ignite, watch out. Warmasters are coming for you.
Hear that, Brian?
In terms of the UKTC format, as I said earlier, it's something that has had a huge impact on the game. It's something that you go to, I don't know, it must be like 80% of events these days, and it's the UKTC mission pack. So it's everywhere, right? You are Zach for a day. You get to make some amount of changes to how the UKTC format is. Is there anything that you would like to see? It could be a small change, it could be a grand
Space between tables.
Sorry?
Space between tables.
Space between tables. Even
Oh,
bigger
yeah,
sports. Naz has gone straight in and he just wants more money spent and even bigger holes there. Is there anything else about the UKTC format that you would like to see changed?
I think it'd be nice to see a little bit more put into prize support. I think when you compare the UKTC events to a lot of other events in the UK, I think me and Naz have made a point this year of going to quite a lot more tournaments outside of the big UKTC ones. Is you often end up having a cheaper ticket. You might have food paid, might have pre-made food for you. Not that I expect that for 250 people. That's a bit of a ridiculous demand. But I think the thing that really stands out is how unique tournaments make their prizes and how memorable these things can be. Not wanting to blow my own trumpet, but I think me and Naz have got the same UKTC medals about 28 different times. And there's nothing wrong with sticking to the same thing. It's worked for them for the time it has, but I think something celebrating those who have done well and just making a bigger deal out of it would be nice, really. I think
Any
the
old loser can
UKTC,
win these medals. So yeah, I fully agree.
yeah, I definitely would like to see. I think the UKTC publicise its players a bit more. Really, I think there's a lot of really great players in the UK that don't get the time in the spotlight that they deserve. And I think a part of that could, I very much think it could be achieved. I think maybe the series is a very good way of starting to maybe introduce the UK or the world to some UK players and teams who might not get the spotlight in a singles basis, and maybe get the spotlight shone on them in a team sense. But yeah, I think that's my thing. Just a little bit more for the UK players and just getting their name out there and really showing off what the UK can do.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, that's the goal of this series, as you say. I know Zach or UKTC were doing a podcast, weren't they, for a while? Don't know if that's still going. I think it's a huge amount of it is the advertising, right? The UKTC is this juggernaut now that is just rolling on, and it can be quite easy to be like, well, we've got a successful formula. But actually, as players who have been doing it for a few years now, we're more in the situation of, well, how can this be even better? Because what you don't want to end up in a situation is where people get to a point where, like, actually, I'm not that fussed about going to the next UKTC event. I'd much rather go to this 60 or 80 or 120, even 120 player event where I'm going to be treated a bit more like an individual. There's going to be really exciting prize support. There's going to be doing something a bit different. I mean, when we did our event, we had two things. We were like, right, we want this just to be a really wonderful tournament in terms of the vibe and the positivity and making each person feel like they want to be there and make them feel special. And we're going to do WTC terrain. Like, those were our two things. And yeah, I think we're at that point now where I know there's quite often people in our team who say, oh, UKTC, it's just you just play the same missions on the same maps with the same terrain over and over, and it does become repetitive. So you want those extra little things, don't you, to sort of draw you in. So yeah, it'd be very interesting. Hopefully, I'm sure Zach will check this out. So hi, Zach.
Good.
But that was kind of the general questions I wanted to ask you. But obviously, it's far more fun if I just put you on the spot now with just some quick fire things, because it's really important. We all know that after this video, you're going to share this video to your teammates, and your teammates are going to be very interested to hear what you have to say now. So here we are. First question. In the team, and obviously we all know the answer here would be Naz, but try and think of someone else. Who's the best painter or hobbyist in the team?
Oh,
This is
it's not James and it's not Raf. It's not good stuff. I don't know if we go
well,
for
I think anyone else who gets their stuff painted by someone else is
It's not me. Fine, it's not
not
me.
you. Stuart, I think, is an excellent painter. Puts a lot of stuff in very regularly. His Chaos Knights have won a few different painting prizes now at different events.
Yeah.
But I think as a whole, as a team, I'm not going to lie, I think we're a little bit light on good hobbyists.
Okay. Hey, you've got a best painted, right, Jack?
Well, I do, but I think anyone who knows
Might
us
actually be
well
you.
feels I got voted that through having orcs or custodies that look like orcs. Maybe
A win's a win, mate. A win's a win.
Chalk it up.
But yeah, I've won a couple of best painted at a few events over my.
Did you win best overall at UK?
I did also win best overall.
I think it might actually be you. Yeah, I think it's you, or I think potentially Stuart. But I think you.
I think recent addition Duncan Ware is also a very good.
Oh,
painter.
he's done an incredible Tyranid army.
He's won a couple of best painted, but he doesn't like thinking or people telling him that he's only good at painting. So here I am, Duncan, to tell you that you are good at painting.
Yeah, he's so ashamed.
Look at your models. Anyone who meets him at an event, let him know how much you like his Tyranids.
Just tell them how amazing they are. I often drive up Jack and Duncan to some events, and yeah, we love to talk to Duncan about his his beautiful painted Tyranids.
Yeah, he's working on some Eldar right now, where all of the aspects have been painted in a different color to how they normally are. And I think that'll look very cool on the tabletop when it's done.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, Duncan. Anyone in your team got any nicknames? Any interesting stories here? Anyone? Anything fun? Are you guys a fun team?
I'm trying to think. Really, do we have anyone with a
We
nickname?
don't really have many nicknames, to be fair. To be honest with you.
Yeah, it's only really you with Fouchane, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but even then, like,
This is
too much.
Okay, so Warmasters are boring.
Yeah, we're a bit boring in that aspect.
Okay, well,
I don't think we've ever had any particularly fun names on the back of any team shirts either, have we?
No.
Do you reckon that now's on the next round of team shirts? We should go pick everyone's for them just to see how.
Yeah, just give them to it. Like we've got Dave in our team. He's got Scrappy Doo because he almost got in a fight at an event one time. So just fire out. He's also well known for winning best sports. Well done, Dave. But you can take yourself now because you may not have fun nicknames, but who's the biggest party animal in the team? Who's out there on the lash, getting lost in Northampton at 5 a.m.? Like who are the party animals of Warmasters?
Admittedly, after that, maybe it is me, but it's really not. For those that don't know, I'm a pretty quiet individual and not big on the partying. But I did go out with Chris and 6++ one time and got lost in Northampton.
Yeah, we did.
Again, I don't want to say Naz, but I think Naz is up there. I think recent addition Matt Bell. I think Duncan Ware as he went out at the 6++ event.
Jaeger bombs.
I hear that was a very interesting night.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's that point again, I guess. I think overall we are a bit of a boring team when it comes to that side of things. But I think we've got a few people that would enjoy a good night out, providing that they are. And me and Naz are keeping them on their best behaviour.
Yeah, I mean, there's Home Nations this weekend. I'm going to be taking Jack to like some pubs in Manchester with like a lot of the American boys and the Irish boys. We're fucking getting absolutely wasted.
We should have filmed this on the Monday.
Oh, mate, absolutely no chance. You would not have got me.
I see if you haven't even gotten back on the Monday with how the trains are going to be.
Yeah, I won't. That's just fine. There you go.
Nice. Okay, this could be controversial. Who in the team is the biggest meta chaser?
Oh, man, no, we've already got an answer for this, don't we, now? So I'm pretty sure we're thinking of the same person. He doesn't play as much as he used to.
I think I might know the answer.
James is...
Oh my God, James, yeah.
No man goes through more armies than James. And that's not a bad thing, because by all means, James, get me to paint more armies for you. All up for it.
So what's crazy about James, and Jack knows this, right? I think there was a time, it was like around late 8th edition, early 9th, like each time an army came out that was good, like I'm not joking when I say each time, like he would just like, but it's in his storage most of the time. Yeah. But I think for like, not just LGT, but the LGT before, he like rush built and painted a Necron army because it was great, went 3 and 2. he like,
sounds like James.
And this all stems, and I know this all started because when he went to LVO for the first time, when the Marine Codex in 8th was released, by the way, so like bunkers. Like I quit playing the game for a little bit because of this, and he had like 18 Remigon Centurions.
Yes,
just went on the line and went first. It was just like, does the roll off? Who's the roll off and wins? He went 5-1 at LVO, and since then it's just meta chase army after army. It's like Voltan when it got released, when it was like busted, had 2,000 points. It hasn't even put on paying them. They're just there. Admech on release when they were busted with like the transhuman ignore like Skutari Horde, all of that. It's great, James. Yeah, fucking.
I'm also going to put my hand up here. I very much used to be a bit of a meta chaser. I think it's gone a bit under the radar, but for a couple of years, I very much bought a new army almost all the time. And for those that don't know, I have a lot of armies by now, but I quickly realised that meta chasing is not the way to bring out my best as a player. So I started sticking to armies over longer periods, and I think overall I've become a much better player for it. But I've definitely done my period of meta chasing. To be honest, I think I think all competitive players, when they get to a certain level, do it at some point.
Of course.
And I think it'd be a bit of a lie to say they don't, right? You're not going to play your army at tournaments if it's bad. Don't give me that look, Naz. We all know you've given up on cards.
I don't like these accusations. I don't like the chase.
You're
How are they
AC
doing,
main
children?
now, aren't you, Naz? Moved
Yeah,
away
it's not
from
very
cards.
chasing. They're not even legal yet. It's not very chasing.
You're
We'll
fronting
see how
the
that
matter.
goes.
Yeah, you're at the front. It's fun. Who would you say is the best sport in the team? So, who's anyone? Is there someone who you're like, oh yeah, I know we have a great game, or is there someone who's won lots of best sport awards, that sort of thing?
There's a few people who can beat, to be fair.
Yeah, it's probably not a good thing that we're taking so long to think about this, or it's a really good thing we're taking so long to think about this. But I mean, it's hard to point out really because, as we said earlier, I think we
You're all
do
great.
have good pride in the team for being overall pretty good sports.
Yep.
I think it's fair to say we very much make sure that anyone who's looking to join the team matches our, I guess,
There's an approval process.
Yeah, there is an approval process. And I think overall, I think you'll find it unlikely that you've had a bad game against any of our players. So it's very hard to pick out a particularly standout performer.
You're just all of you are amazing.
Wow.
Some
Apart from Naz, but you know.
Yeah, I've never played Naz.
I get that.
I can vouch for Jack. Jack is a lovely opponent. Can't vouch for Naz yet.
Okay. Don't need your vouching. I'll get Tom to vouch for me.
Two final questions. Then. If you were to compare Warmasters to a Premier League football team, who would you be?
God,
I'm out on this question. As for those that know, I'm not the
Premier League football team.
folk.
Oh, that's tough. Who would it be? I don't think it'd be Manchester City because we're not that hated. We wouldn't be Spurs because we actually
Do okay.
Yeah.
Do you win things though? Have you won tournaments as Warmasters?
As a team event, no. Individually,
we have won
Awkward.
a small 3-man teams event in Peterborough.
Okay. So which sort of Premier League teams win the cup, like the League Cup, but nothing else? Then is that what we're looking at?
Yeah.
Are we like Nottingham Forest? No, we can't be like Nottingham Forest.
We don't have
I think we're like a Chelsea.
Okay. They're not doing great at the moment, mate.
It's like I'm trying to think. So we're not Liverpool.
No.
I think Ignite's like Liverpool.
Okay.
And I think like Arsenal, like close behind. Will occasionally upset, the big teams.
Yeah. They're never actually going to win the big thing.
Yeah, but like won't win the big thing, but they might. They might. But they sure have the power to upset the big teams, like Arsenal did 3-0 against Real Madrid. I didn't expect that. I was very upset.
There you go. Okay, smashed it. Well done. And my final question to you, and you can each obviously have a separate answer. This weekend is the next ITT. Unfortunately, the rest of Warmasters cannot make the event. You've got your phone. You can get 4 other players to come and join you for your next team event. They've got to be a UKTC stalwart, so you can't ring up John Lennon, I'm afraid. Who are you bringing, and what armies are you all bringing?
Is it limited to one from each team?
No. You can try and pick 4 Ignite players if you want.
I think that's quite likely. For those who don't know, me and Naz, I think, interact with a lot of the Ignite guys quite a lot, and I think it'd be easy to call on them at late notice to make sure that we know we're already off to a similar mindset.
Would you pick the same 4 Ignite players then? Okay, you've got to pick from at least 2 other teams. We'll say.
Okay.
So Ignite and another team.
I'd grab Greg Chamberlain. I think Greg is. I've got him. So that's excellent player at the minute.
Damn it.
I'd grab Brian, but I love Brian. I think that's another one Naz probably wanted.
Sure.
Oh, who else would I grab from Ignite?
Okay, it's like a cherry pick. He's like, this one, this one, this one. I'd have Vic. You're not allowed Vic. He's mine.
Yeah.
All right. Are we turning this into like a little like fantasy
It's just
draft?
picking on the line.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
You're about to
It's
upset
mine.
people.
Hands off.
Yeah.
I see. I'm not going to pick multiple from Ignite because that'd be too easy.
Okay.
I would have. So you took Greg. I can't have Greg. I'll have Tom. There you go.
All right.
Take Tom. There you go. We also have Want because we can't pick from Warmasters. I would have. Oh. No, I can't say that. What else should I have? If I want to just win the event,
I think I'll step on that thing. I think I'd take Ed Watts.
Nice.
I think I am. I think
That's
I
a good
have
point.
exactly the sort of mindset to mellow out Ed's constant
Yeah,
using.
Just so you know, you've made a huge mistake trying to be in a WhatsApp group with Ed. Just don't
yeah,
take
very
part
much.
as well. You'll be fine.
Very much feels like Naz, who's got a new idea every 3 days. He doesn't swap to them, but he does like going, "Oh, I've got this great idea for this."
Yeah. Okay,
Dealt
so
with that for years already. I'm
so
sure
Jack's team is Jack, Greg Chamberlain, Ed Watts.
Oh, I'll take Josh.
Oh, there we are. Naz has got Naz, Josh.
I'd have Papa GW. There we go.
Yeah, I've got Brian.
You got Brian. So you need one more. Jack.
Now another team.
Yeah, it's from a different team. That's the tough part, really.
Any Mind Goblins? Currently number one or were number one team last year. Any Mind Goblin players you want? All good signs. Vanguard Tactics. Just going to shout out some Dead Red Game.
Oh, I mean, there's someone else from Dead Red that I think of.
Stephen Patton. I know him. He's a very good player.
I think James. I just forgot his surname. James from Dead Red as well. He was great. I played him at Goodhammer. There you go. Me, James,
Yep.
Josh.
Yep.
Who did I say initially? I said Vic.
Nick.
Am I missing one? I thought I said 5.
Tom.
Tom. There you go.
There you are.
I think I'd take the other Roberts brother. I think I'd take Nathan. I think
There
Nathan's
you go.
a phenomenal backbone to any team.
He is the backbone.
Scores.
So
That
Jack's
man
team,
knows what he's doing.
Jack's
He
team
is the boss.
So you got Jack, Nathan, then
Brian, Ed Watts, and Greg Chamberlain.
Greg Chamberlain. There we are. And factions, very quickly. What are they going to be on? What are you guys going to be on?
Votan, CSM, Orcs. I give them to Brian, not me. I think it's the right choice.
Not that good.
I'd probably play Sisters. Do love me some Sisters. And well, whatever Ed thinks is best at the moment. Probably
Marine
Space
build.
at any given time. Any kind of Marine build, yeah.
A Marine build would be
I
good.
very much believe in giving players what they're happy and comfortable with, rather than just shoving them on the 5 best armies in the game. So
True. So do I.
So, Nassim, what's your 5 going to be?
I would have Guard.
Yeah.
I would have Custodes. Solar Spearhead specifically, robots.
Yep.
I would have Demons. 5 big demons specifically. Free Blood versus Scarborough and Bellacore specifically.
Okay.
Eldar.
Yep.
Some form of Eldar because all of it's pretty much cracked. What would 5th one be? Marines, because Josh would like to play some form of Marines. There you go.
Blood Angels or something.
Blood Angels, Ocean Marines. It's all broken.
Who cares? It's all broken. There we
All
are.
good. Sorry.
And you'll
Strong.
be on the humble guard.
No, I'll be on Custodes.
Are you on? Are you? Did you actually ever get those models?
Ah, funny you say that. They'll be with Jack soon.
apparently so.
Excellent. Jack will love painting all those dreadnoughts, I'm sure.
It will be much better than painting all the Emperor's
All
shield
the
and
trim.
So you know.
Oh, I didn't say Emperor's Children. That's fine. They'll be enough soon.
Yeah, don't want the army that I'm currently playing. No, sure. Wow, that's all my questions. So thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure. There seemed no better fit for this series than you guys being first. We do love you, and you guys are obviously huge stalwarts of the UKTC scene. So thank you very much. This is going to be a long-running series as we interview all the main movers and shakers of the UKTC. So if you have enjoyed this episode, then not only give us a like, comment, and subscribe, but let us know which team do you want us to interview next. We will slide into their DMs and maybe they'll reply. Who knows? And we'll get on to that. But yeah, thank you very much, guys. I'm sure we'll have you on at some point soon for your next big win, or when you you break the
Nations. Easy. This weekend.
Yeah, of course. You've got Home Nations.
After Home Nations.
Home Nations, after Home Nations, join Tom on the Monday lunchtime chill out thing where you just debrief about Home Nations, about how England won.
I'd be more than happy to do that. So let me know.
Great.
Beautiful. Thank you. Well, thank you very much, guys, and we will see you all again very soon. Take care.
Bye.